What's up, guys? Welcome to my tarot channel, Tarot by the Intuitive Teacup. That's me. My name's Annie. Welcome to this All Signs Tarot reading. Please come into the readings with an open heart and an open mind. Take away only what resonates for you and release the rest. Check below for timestamps so you can hop directly to your reading. And do remember to check out the reading for your sun, moon, rising, and Venus signs. All right, let's do it. All right, Aries. Aries, sun, moon, rising, and Venus signs. Let's see what's happening in your love life in the next week or so. Is there an oracle card or two that wants to come out for Aries? Those came right out. Let's see. Girl with a snake, charmed or used, enabled, or boundaries, and then seduction. All right, yeah, these two together have very much a come hither sexual vibe. So you might be jiving with someone this week and just feeling a lot of chemistry, a lot of passion. It says attraction, teasing, hooking up, temptation. One more. Is this a good energy or is this something that's going to blow up in their faces? Let's see. Always hoping for the best, right? But let's get you the tea. Can I get one more card? Is this a good energy or is this person kind of fooling? The ship. Cutting ties, moving on, receiving what you need, progression and arriving. Yeah, so here's the thing. I think if you go in, and this obviously isn't going to be something everyone wants to hear, but here's the message. I think if you go in with an attitude that this could just be fun, but it's very likely short term, if you don't have expectations or have sort of this need to be in this sort of like checking in with each other all the time, expecting, but it's funny how the word respecting came through. Know your worth, know your, self-respect essentially. But I think if you go into this without sort of the expectation that this person needs to check in with you and follow up and this and that, if it's just kind of like it kind of feels like an in-betweener that could be fun, but you kind of have to stay grounded and level-headed because it's sort of like the cards to me are indicating, yeah, this isn't going to last. Like it's not going to be long-term, but it could be short-lived, but it could be very fun. But if this has already happened and you're kind of longing and wishing for something to come back, I think the ship is saying essentially like, I think there's more coming in for you, but it's probably coming from a different source. Now, for some of you, because the Ten of Pentacles is coming up, I'm obviously reading for love, but this could even translate in terms of something that was short-lived in your life. Maybe it was a friendship, maybe it was a job, you know what I mean? Like maybe it was something that at first it seemed really fun, it was a good fit, it was a good vibe, it was interesting, you were curious, but then come to find out a few months later, or whatever, a few weeks later, maybe it's not, it was glamorized. It's not all that it was chalked up to be. So there is sort of this element of like, there's a little bit of a risk if you choose to pursue this. And there's nothing wrong with that. But again, realistic expectations, this is very much sort of like, maybe one night stand. I would say it probably expands a little bit more, but just be realistic with what you're coming to expect and ask of this person because they're probably not in it for the long run, but they probably just want to have a good time. They probably think you're cute and sexy AF, right? Yeah, but they're guarded. This isn't the type of person who actually wants to have the heart-to-heart conversations and let you into their life. I will say too, and I mean, again, this if it's temporary and fun, great, more power to you. I also think this is a person that they sort of get off on compliments. They like feeling wanted. They like being, the temptress or whatever the male version of that. They like the attention. They like the ego stroke. They like the sexting and the texting and the pictures and this and that. And again, there's nothing wrong with that per se, but tarot, right? If we're going to do a deep dig in the psychology there, this person probably doesn't think they're beautiful or worthy, or they don't actually feel loved. And so they're kind of going about it in a weird way because I don't think it's conscious, right? They're not operating from a conscious level, but yeah, it's like attracting you into their life. It's fulfilling their need of maintaining this illusion that they have it all together. Sorry, Aries. I'm sorry. I know you're watching this like cringe, but to a certain degree, right? There's going to be different levels of that. I think, and the thing is, from your perspective, I think whether this is male, female, or whatever the gender's involved here, it doesn't matter. I think you think this person thinks they're like better than everyone else, or you view them as a little bit cocky. And I think there's something about that you find sexy. It's like, in some ways, you kind of get pulled in their trap again, not consciously, but sort of wanting to like prove that you are good enough and that they should give you a second chance. But it's almost like this never had anything to do with you, boo. Like this was like innocent bystander. You kind of got involved in this web or this mess of what's going on here. And again, if it's short-lived, it's fun and it seems cool and it's just a break from everyday normal life, but don't start holding on to it expecting that it's going to carry into the couple weeks, because honestly, Aries, the ultimate message here is like, you kind of know you're better than that. And I'm not a prude. I'm not saying you can't just be, casually hooking up with people if you don't want a long-term commitment. Okay, that's fine. That's your prerogative. But with that, I think this might be saying you may want to actually aim higher, because this person really isn't going to be able to deliver you much more than like sex, sex appeal, attraction. And that's important. But again, substance, I think, is arguably more important, if not just as important, right? So again, just realistic expectations of what this is. But I do think it's saying you're worth better. So like aim a little bit higher. You may have to wait a little bit longer. Sort of the idea of like your ships are coming in. I think eventually you're going to have to cut ties with this, because there's something like impenetrable. It's like they do have their walls up. They're very guarded. You're just not going to be able to get through to this person the way you want, or they're not going to sort of come around and give you what you ultimately need to feel a sense of safety, security, comfort, those sort of things. This is just sort of like again, hit it and quit it, fly by night, one night stand or whatever it is. Like, it could be a few night stands, whatever the equivalent of that is, but it's not someone who's looking to settle down and plant seeds and have roots. Is there something else coming in that Aries would better jive with? Can we ask? Is there something else or another option? Possibly something with a Sagittarius. There might be something coming in the future. Maybe with a Sagittarius or someone who is going through their own healing journey currently. But also with that, there could be some sort of, honestly, some of you, I see you wanting to reconcile with this person or try it again or mend or heal whatever you think, broke or was out of sorts. I don't know if you're going to get great results from that. I think this might be more of a spiritual time of healing for you in order to get clear on what you really want. And ultimately, it's saying be patient. You may have to wait a little bit longer for like a really good one, but that doesn't mean it's not coming into you. But yeah, my money's on Sagittarius. All right. Thanks so much, Aries. Hello, Taurus. Taurus, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus signs. What's coming in for love, your love and dating life? What's coming in? What's a storyline I can share with Taurus? What's the energy coming through for the next couple weeks? Let's see. Separation. All right. Don't love that, but let's see. Something might be kind of prickly. You might be going through sort of a tough time with your person. They might be needling you or agitating you. This might just be sort of like I don't even know if this is a finalized separation. This actually kind of feels a little bit like silent treatment or just needing to take a break from your person because they're bothering you. There's something, they're prickly. They're like, I don't know, your partner's grumpy right now. Tell me a little bit more. It does say missing you, thinking about you, uncertain future. So even if you do have a breakup, I don't know how long it's going to last. Oh, not long at all. Look at that love call. I'm not sure who breaks the ice first. Part of me is wanting to say it's probably your person. I think they may come and apologize to you. They might not directly address what happened, though. It's sort of like they just kind of want to gloss right over it and not have to really admit fault, which I don't think you're going to let fly. I think you're absolutely going to call them on their BS. But that being said, it's like, be careful, right? It's ultimately not about, blaming and shaming and all that and playing games. Like if you want this person in your life, sometimes you do have to just be open and accept an apology, right? I mean, I'm not sure how much of an actual apology you're going to get, but ultimately I think it shows that this person is trying. I don't think they're trying to be difficult. I think they're probably having some stuff going on internally, some of which you might be aware of, but other stuff, it's like they don't feel like they can communicate it with, because they don't like being vulnerable. There's something about where it feels very fire sign energy to me. It's like if it gets too deep, if it gets too serious, they dip out and then they want to solve it on their own. And then they come back when they're in better spirits, which is interesting because I almost think there's an energy of you of wanting to be there for not just the happy stuff, but the deep stuff too, right? In any healthy relationship, you can't just, it's not all parties and games, right? But there's something about this person where they really struggle to open up and let you see them be vulnerable. And so that is something that they're working on. But yeah, again, is this an ideal scenario where it's like, I'm sorry, I wish I had done this better, blah, 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 blah. Not exactly. But you know what? They're trying. So I would give them a little leeway if you can and if you want to. But if this is the type of thing where you want them to come back to you and apologize, but you're going to give them the silent treatment until you get the apology, well, again, that's childlike, right? That's feeding into sort of the games and not actually approaching this like an adult and like wanting to heal the dynamic. So I think this, if it is truly a separation, I think it's temporary, and it might not even be an actual separation. It might be like a day where this person just has to go find themselves. There might be an age difference between you guys too. And then it says death. The relationship is over. No second chances. Growth, transform. So here's what I think. I think this may involve a Scorpio, FYI. That's very Scorpionic to me. I do think ultimately this whole sort of sidestepping of addressing the actual matter, maybe that's something that has been going on in your relationship for a while, and it's to the point where you can't stand it anymore. Because I do get the idea that if this person tries to get back into your good graces, you're apprehensive to let them back in. Now, I mean, my first go around with this is like, yeah, but if you want them back, like there has to be a way in. But with the death card, I do ultimately think grow and transform. You guys need to change your style of communication, or else this is just going to be a cycle that keeps repeating. So otherwise, you may give them some sort of ultimatum. Maybe maybe you don't let them back into your life as easy as you used to, because maybe this has been an ongoing pattern. So I feel like you guys are ultimately going to have a heart-to-heart where it gets very real and you have to address the conflict directly. And so here's the thing, it's not entirely up to you. I'm a big proponent of open and honest communication, even when it's hard, especially when it's hard. I do think for a lot of you, you're willing and able to do that, but is this person? And so for some of you, I almost get the impression that if it's too real, if it's too deep, if it's too serious, this person may actually risk losing you because they're not in a place in themselves where they feel comfortable asking for what they need or making the drastic necessary changes to show up in this relationship differently and be a bigger person, be a better person. So in which case, you might be open to fixing it, but if your person is not, then maybe that's what this represents. But here's the thing, they want to. I just don't think they have enough faith and belief in themselves that they're going to be able to show up differently for you. I don't know if martyr is the right word, but it's like this person can't get past their own BS. Do you know what I mean? And they know it too. And I'm not here to beat up your person by any means. Like part of me is, very empathetic to like, this person has a lot of like psychological stuff going on. They want to be the best version of themselves. It's just not simply that easy for them. So what is causing this argument or whatever it is? A lack of communication, yeah. Thinking things but not being able to express them. And for some of you, it might feel like that you nag or needle your person a lot. They might feel like you're always kind of giving them shit about stuff. And like, I get it, because you're like, hey, like, I need you to do this. And this is like the 9th time I've asked you. In some ways, there is almost a parent-child dynamic to this. And like, that's not your responsibility, right? So yeah. The Knight of Wands, yeah, there is kind of this coming and going energy, and then we circle back around and we do it all over again, because I do think there's love here. I do think there's passion. I think you have fun together and you like this person, but I think sort of the honeymoon stage is over and you're starting to really see this person's faults and flaws, and for some of you, it's starting to outweigh the good times and the good memories. So yeah, I do think there is sort of this very direct, pointed addressing of the conversation, as we said. I think you're willing to give this a try. To be honest, I think it's your person. It scares the shit out of them. Pardon my French. But yeah, it's almost like they're willing to risk losing you to maintain a lifestyle that they're not even happy with. They don't necessarily want to be the bachelor, bachelorette forever. I think they see longevity and a long-term future with you, but they know that they have major changes to go through, and they need to change their life and whatever and transform. Not for you, for them. But ultimately, that's what's going to, win your affection and your heart and your time. But yeah, with this, it's almost like I want to, but I can't. Now, again, keep in mind, guys, these are weekly energies, but that's what I see this week. This on again, off again, I love you, and then we're separating. And it seems a little bit tumultuous, but hopefully your person will kind of get the message that they need to show up and do better. And again, I don't even mean it for you, because ultimately that's not going to be, what is the word? Sustainable. Like, they need to start showing up for them and making small strides in progress in order to like stoke the fire and keep this going. But yeah, if they're doing it for you, that's why it's not really happening, it's because they're not pouring it into their energy into like the right vessel for the long term. Do you know what I mean? Anyway, this feels like Scorpio fire sign, maybe like Scorpio Sag cuspy, Aries Leo Sag. Yeah. Anyway, that's what I got for you this week, Taurus. Thanks. All right, Gemini, what's up? Gemini, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus signs. What's going on in your love life? Let's see. All right, what's coming in? What message or storyline can I share with Gemini? What's going on in their love life in the next couple of weeks? Gemini, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs. I see pictures. Key on a ring. All right. Says first thing says many options, unconventional one night stand. Let's see. Addiction. So I do think you're romanticizing something from your past for some of you, or you might be keeping your options open for someone who maybe is going through a challenging period health wise. I'll say that. Trouble letting go of the past, feeling shackled to a situation, not knowing how to get out of it, and that could be going on in your life or in your partner's life too. And the death of a relationship, wah, wah, and then blow and kiss. All right, so then you have this happy card. Taurus got this too. So then bottom, hammer, sabotage. Okay, and this is repairing a relationship. So to be honest, this actually feels like it might be similar to the Taurus reading. So if you're dealing with one, definitely check that out. Though you'll probably be offended if you're the cross watcher. This feels like you want to give your heart to someone who is not able to accept it because they are going through some sort of psychological purging. If you keep it surface level and light and easy and don't want any necessarily like a commitment, like a we're this, we're that, boyfriend, girlfriend, titles, moving in together, we're husband, all those sort of things. There's an element here of, again, unconventional. There's something different about this relationship where, I don't know, with kind of like this chain, it's like you're unable to move past something that you want to. So maybe you've plateaued in your relationship and you don't necessarily want to end it because you are romanticizing or sentimentalizing the good times without necessarily wanting to acknowledge how it's changed. That's possible for some of you. Some of you, to be honest, Gemini, I mean, this doesn't surprise me. I think a lot of people are doing this in Gemini season. If you're kind of single and mingle, ready to mingle and all those ridiculous phrases, there's options here. And it's like there's the one you really want that you may be quote unquote addicted to, right? Obsessed about or unable to release, right? There's sort of like a tethering of something from the past that did end. Then there's maybe this idea of a reunion or wanting to get back together, or this idea of, well, I'm just going to bide my time and kiss a few frogs, date around until maybe something about this one comes back into play. Those are sort of the messages I see here. And that's sort of what I mean by many options. Maybe you're pursuing multiple options at the same time. Again, nothing saying you can't, as long as that's very transparent and, the other people involved are aware of that. But yeah, if some of you are just, again, like single and on the apps or going out meeting people, you may be texting or meeting up with different people, seeing what's out there. But I do think there's one in particular that either quote unquote left a mark or a scar. It's like that one that you're still not quite over. Or if it's not romanticized and like, oh, I want them back, there was, and I want to be delicate with how I phrase this, there was some serious like damage done. So something about a past relationship that really put you through the ringer is affecting how you go out into the world in your romantic life. And maybe you're not as open and willing to explore options as you want to believe you are, because there is something internally that you're still needing to heal. It's like a psychological wounding. And I don't know exactly what that is, but yeah, there is, with these two cards, there's something deep going on. So if it's not with you, it's in the life of your person. And maybe for some of you, there hasn't been necessarily a breakup or an ending of a relationship. If this is coming through as someone you're dealing with, again, they may be undergoing some sort of psychological transformation, getting over addiction issues. Maybe they're in, sobriety is coming through, or maybe they're in some sort of rehabilitation, even if it's not for drugs, right? Maybe there's health rehabilitation. Maybe there was like a close call health-wise, a health scare, something like that. It does seem like if that's the case, things may be slow to start. There may be oppositions or obstacles or struggles to make formal plans or to I'm almost like meet deadlines. I don't even know what that means, but if you make plans, they may get canceled. And it's not necessarily because they're not interested. There might be other stuff preventing this from happening the way you want it to. There might also be something kind of secretive about this too with the blowing kisses card. It does say unconditional love, giving and receiving, fairness, and affection returned. So again, this may be multiple people coming through. You might be dating someone who has very heavy energy in their life, but you are like a beacon of light. You know, you bring them a lot of joy and fun and pleasure. But there is something about a struggle with that. Someone here may be sabotaging a relationship, again, due to like psychological fears that are not, operating on a conscious level. But yeah, there's something about, I keep kind of seeing tires spinning out in the mud. So, I mean, maybe one of you or two are having car issues, but for me, that almost feels more symbolic. Like we're trying to get ahead of something, and it just feels like the universe is like, nope, sorry, you're stuck. You might be dealing with a Scorpio with the death card. It doesn't have to be. Gemini, perhaps. Let's see. With these energies too, I do see like a lot of texting and flirting and sexting like that. That looks like it could be fun. As long as that's not the one that like the kibosh was put on. Just be careful about really romanticizing the past or someone who's no longer in your life, because that could really be holding you back. I do think this is saying forward movement, but tell me a little bit more. Listen to your intuition. That's the biggest message when this card comes up. It's like, you already know. You already know about this person, or I'm going to phrase it this way. You already know about yourself, Gemini. You know what holds you back in relationships. You know the patterns that you tend to repeat, methodically, ritualistically. And if they're not helping you, if they're hindering you, you know you need to do it differently this time, right? Especially if you're a person who has trouble letting go, or if you're a person who's always chasing the next option and not giving the time of day to something that could be stable and healthy, right? Whatever it is for you, the storylines will differ, but this essentially says your spirit guides are whispering in your ear, right? That's your intuition. That's your inner knowing. So don't do the thing you always do and self-sabotage. Or if you know this person is bad news and you're like, yeah, but the sex is great. Well, is it worth it, right? Sex is good. Sex is important, but also is there substance? Is there mutual respect and a mutual desire to like make this thing happen? Like, do you know what each other is looking for in this relationship? Because if not, maybe you need to get clarity on that because you don't want to be strung along, right? Yeah, I think some of you, it's like there's a lot of time to sit back and wait or sit back and think about this. Now, if it's for the reason of transformation and again, approaching something in a more mature way, I like it. Others of you, again, it's this idea of being strung along. It's waiting for something to emerge again, when in reality, there might be a reason why the universe took it away or removed it from your life. It could be like, rejection is divine protection. This might be saying, put yourself out there because there might be better options out there for you. Now, that being said, if this person is showing up and texting you every day, then maybe you're already in something good. Again, maybe this has to do with kind of like your own stuff that could become a factor and possibly self-sabotage, but you don't have to do that this time, right? This is sort of metaphorically, the cocoon. The butterfly is about to emerge. That feels very Gemini, the butterfly, right? So it does ultimately lead to the death card. So maybe you're going through a period of self-transformation, and with that, your romantic life is going to change. And with the Page of Cups, I would say for the better. Maybe you don't go all in this time, right? Maybe you keep it light and easy and don't automatically start looking for, reasons to run or the opposite, putting someone up on a pedestal before you even get to really know them, right? I think Page of Cups says, enjoy it. It's sweet. Keep it fun and light and innocent in a sense, whatever that means. Also, something about children or someone's child may factor into this with the Page of Cups. The Page of Cups is trying, but they sometimes miss the mark. And that's okay, right? As long as there's a willingness to get better each time, right? That's sort of the message here. All right. Thank you, Gemini. All right. Cancer, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus signs. Wishing you all with Sun in Cancer a very happy birthday season. I'm stoked. I got a lot of water in my chart. Love me, my Cancer gang, as you guys know. So for anybody celebrating or who knows a Cancer that's celebrating, many happy birthday wishes. I hope it's a good one. All right, here we go. What's coming in for Cancer? What is a storyline I can share with them? Love, romance, things of that sort. What's coming in for Cancer? What's a storyline, a character, an archetype? What's coming in here? Self-indulgence. All right. Self-worth and value, time to heal, shadow work, and self-appreciation. So I actually think that's self-indulgence for the most part in the higher vibration. It's like taking really good care of yourself, knowing what you deserve. This might be actually like, as the tail end of Gemini season for Cancer risings, that's your 12th house. So there might be a lot of kind of like, I wanted to say reflection, recollection, looking at the past, contemplating the past, what you're wanting to let go, what you're wanting to manifest. And yeah, look, healthy choices. So for a lot of you, not to say love isn't on the horizon or already in your life, but it seems like you're putting yourself first, and with healthy choices coming through, I actually really love that for you guys. Like, awesome way to start off your birthday season. Self-love, self-care, being happier, love, and life. And you guys know I'm going to say, right, that's the best energy to manifest something into your life if you are single and looking, right? When it's not always your focus, when you're not obsessing over it or trying to, force pieces of the puzzle to fit together. Sometimes it just happens organically. So we'll see. Oh, okay. This is not today. Boundaries hurt, avoiding conversation, not dealing, still upset. All right. So there's something coming in that you're still thinking about clearly, right? If it has to do with hurt or, again, feeling upset over something, you might still sort of be, I think, working through something that's already happened. Maybe you're kind of in the process of releasing and letting go. And then it says the butterfly, evolving growth, next phase, healing the inner child and releasing the past. Literally what we've been saying. So, not my sexiest cards, right? I'll be honest. But that being said, I think you're actually in a good place of setting yourself up for something in the future. So we'll pull some tarot and see what that's going to look like for you all. Pisces, Taurus, Gemini, that might be coming through here a little bit, especially in regards to something of your past. But if none of that is resonating, that could be something that's on the horizon for you. That feels very much like Gemini season. So, and these are weekly energies, guys. They change. So check in next week. We'll see what happens. But for now, let's see what we can get from the tarot. Like I said, these are not bad cards by any means. At least you're not dealing with like a narcissist, or you're not dealing with someone who's abusive or an alcoholic or, whatever, right? It could be a lot worse. It seems just kind of like a week, and I know that's not super exciting, but so let's set the intention for Cancer. If they're focused on themselves and their healing, can we get like a preview of what might be to come in regards to love and relationships, romance? For those who are already in a partnership, it feels like maybe there's a pulling back a little bit of, again, needing to focus more time and attention on you and not so much, pouring yourself out to your partner and kind of catering to all their needs and wants and desires. There might be a little bit of it's almost like you're wanting to take a break from the intimacy or the physical stuff. I don't know if all of you are going to relate to that, but let's see what's coming in. So messages. All right. Movement forward. What are we moving towards here? What is Cancer moving towards? Let's see. Ooh, a commitment. All right. So who's sending these messages? Again, double Taurus energy for me right now. All right. I saw Knight of Pentacles. Whoop. Okay. That card like literally fell out. So we'll take a peek. All right. So let's see. With this card, there's a couple things that comes through. Fear of abandonment issues. There might be someone in your past who it was too much too soon, or they were fearing commitment. If that's the case, in the future, there might be someone messaging you who's actually ready to take some sort of step forward. Tell me a little bit more. Someone you fell out of touch with, someone from your past. There might be a difference in age there, too. Someone who maybe, no offense, sorry, someone who maybe has mommy issues. Tell me more about whoever is messaging wanting a commitment. What are we allowed to know? The Knight of Cups, Cancer. I love that. See, so like not all is lost here. I know these cards presented as a boring week. And I mean, I can't make up stuff that isn't there, guys. So yeah, weekly, bi-weekly energy, it looks a little bit like, yeah, we're just kind of, we're doing the thing. We're living our daily lives, focusing on us. Maybe you're focused on, healthier choices with your diet, your exercise, your mental health, your wellness, your spirituality. Maybe you're hanging out by water. Maybe you're swimming. Maybe you're going in the pool, whatever, right? I like that, may as well focus on self-care if there's no, hot romantic options. But, in the near future, that's what I'm asking for. Knight of Cups sending messages of commitment. Love it. Like, are you serious? So with this card, again, it could be, and could be someone from your past, right? It could be someone who, again, you fell out of touch with. That's sort of the main message coming through. If this is someone brand new and you're not looking to rekindle anything from your past, which is totally valid and totally fine, this might be suggesting that somebody has a parent who is no longer in their life. They may be dealing with issues in their family, taking care of mom, dad, kids from another marriage, whatever. Or it may indicate that they lost a parent very young in their life as well. That might be something you come to learn or come to find out. I don't predict scary stuff. I'm not predicting that, right? But that's just confirmation for one or two of you. Maybe you already know about this person, right? Yeah, so manifestation and commitment, yes, but also communication. The Magician can be a strong communication card when it's Mercury energy. Right now, it's almost like this is in the ethers, like it's orbiting around you. It's coming in, but I don't think it's quite here yet. Yeah, so be patient. I think don't lose yourself in sort of like the sorrow or the woe is me of like, oh, it's never my turn, and I'm going to be single forever, and I'm so lonely. That's not the case here. It really isn't. The Ace of Cups is always a new blessing, and in the Four of Cups, sometimes we're so focused on whatever this is. Usually it's the past, right? A lot of times the Four of Cups is we're not always being present. So whatever it is, it says there's something either in front of you, maybe you're just not realizing yet, or it's on the horizon. So it's saying don't get too tripped up in the past or what used to be or thinking you missed out on an opportunity, because there's something either, again, coming in or already kind of in your energy that could be really delicious and really satisfying, right, with that Ace of Cups. Again, double energy of Gemini, too, for me as a reader. Taurus, maybe Virgo, maybe Pisces. The sign doesn't really matter, but ultimately, hang in there, because this actually looks really nice to me. All right, thanks, Cancer. All right, Leo, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus signs. What's up? Let's see what's coming in for you. I have to tell you, I have a deck off camera here. You can't really see it, but I went to hit record on my laptop for you, and this card flipped over, so someone's peeking in on you. Someone's spying. Someone's curious. Someone's checking you out at work or on social media, or it definitely has a spying element. So that person, you're like, I wonder if they're thinking about me, or I feel like they're flirting with me. They are. They're look at that. They're wearing a mask. They're hiding their true feelings. Someone is scoping you out because they think you're hot stuff, Leo. All right, here we go. Tell me about Leo's love life in the next couple weeks. What's that looking like for my Leos out there? The camera, reminiscing, making memories, learning from the past, and perception. Someone's looking at your photograph, whether you guys had pictures taken together, or again, just checking out what you're doing online, or I don't know, having access to some sort of photo of you. I don't even necessarily mean that in like a naughty sense, right? It's actually coming through more as nostalgia, feeling like they missed out on an opportunity with you. Old school, outdated thinking, conditioning, replaying events, over in your head. So again, nostalgia, right? One person in this connection, I'm sensing this isn't totally new. We'll see what comes up in terms for Leo's looking for brand new connections, but you definitely have something from the past coming through here. You might also date someone who's involved in media, photography, filmmaking, podcasting, something with like media and publishing, even like writing or something like that. That might be one or both of your professions, just for confirmation for a few of you. Also something about school, a teacher as well. There could be quite an age difference between you guys, or if it's not an age difference, someone might be a little bit more conservative or a little bit more traditional, or if that's not the case exactly, they may come from a family or a legacy, their roots, their whatever, their family, their upbringing was very traditional, or maybe that's you, and it's almost like they're wanting to go completely in the opposite direction, but there may have been issues regarding like secrecy or privacy, or not wanting to introduce you to their friends or their family because there was like some sort of false reputation they were trying to uphold, and hopefully it doesn't have to do with like someone already being involved or in another marriage. I don't know if that's true for most of you, but there was, I don't know, with the couple cards that showed something about like a secretive element. Seduction, attraction, teasing, hooking up, third party, and temptation. All right, so the third party card is here. Let's see. And then as I was like, I don't think it's necessarily like naughty and sexual, then we have this card coming up too. So the temptation. Let's take one more and then we'll hop into the tarot. Thank you for Leo. Grounding. I think this person's super attracted to you, though. I think this person definitely thinks about you in many ways, right? Let's see. Grounding, stability, security, performance, growth, and endurance. Yeah, so I think this person is probably focused on their money, their finances, and their resource. I think they're certainly thinking about you, wanting to reach out, hoping maybe you reach out to them. But in the meantime, it's like they're reminiscing about either the good times or the possibility of what could have been. Maybe you guys didn't even really date. Maybe it was like a short-lived connection. I don't know. Tell me a little bit more. I'm hearing mouth stuff. Naughty. All right, so the Lovers, the Ace of Cups. Yeah, so like, here's the thing though with this, this is a good combination, at least in my humble opinion, right? Everybody out there is probably looking for something a little bit different, but it has kind of this nostalgia and this deep desire to actually build something meaningful, but it also has this fun, sexy, playful, passionate, you know, sexual connection, and grounding too, right? That's the earth energy. So this feels very like water, fire, and earth, right? That's sort of what's coming through. So like the only thing missing is air, right? And I mean, that's the communication, which probably isn't happening. That's sort of what I'm getting from this. So you have the Lovers card and then the Ace of Cups. So again, this idea of like, yeah, we're naked and let's do this, but also there's love there too. So one or both of you, it feels very nostalgia, like what could have been, or feeling like you missed out on a connection, or if things could only be different. There's kind of like this, this dreamy, wishy fantasy, like if only, if only. Look at you with the Two of Cups. So like part of me is wanting to wonder like what happened. And I mean, I'm sure something did, something transpired, but I mean, the Lovers, depending on what it's near, can kind of go either way. But if it's with the Ace of Cups and the Two of Cups, I'm kind of like, WTF, Leo. Like this looks like it could be really sweet and cute. Yeah, with the wish fulfillment card. Yeah, I mean, that whole, like, I know, like, it was an off deck, so I'm not really reading into it too much, but I couldn't help but notice, like, the whole, like, spying curiosity. It's like you guys are both thinking about each other, right? It's like you guys are both watching tarot readings on the other person, right? There's wish fulfillment there. So here's the thing. Part of me wants to say whatever you're wanting and desiring from this, you're probably going to get. Will it be short-term or long-lived? That's a little bit up in the air. But ultimately, again, there's no sword, so who's going to initiate that communication? I'd love to know. There is a Saturn card coming through. So I will say with these coming through, it feels like one or both of you might be focused on priorities that are not this relationship, right? Money, job, finances, career stuff, maybe even taking care of children, if that's a factor at all. Obviously, that's got to take priority, right? As well as the self, right? The world frequently sort of symbolizes the idea of like birthing yourself into a new chapter. And so this person might still sort of be tying up loose ends from, a former life, a former chapter, maybe a former flame or marriage or something. And maybe they're going to come out on the other end and want to start something fresh with you. Just given the scenario, this doesn't feel totally new as much as I want it to be. So for the majority of you watching, this feels like connecting with someone from your past. Your Leo rising, right? Your Aquarius 7th house has Pluto in it, right? So that's going to bring up some stuff from the past. Now, it's not going to be all sunshine and rainbows, right? There's going to be some ugly, mucky stuff we have to work through, the psychological stuff. But that doesn't have to be something that holds you back as long as you're willing to do the work to work through it, right? To breathe new life into this, to reinvent it, to do it in a different transformational way. Now, there could be an element here where both of you maybe have options and have connections, but I mean, I don't know. These three cards, this feels very strong to me. I don't think this person has forgotten you, if that's what you're wondering. Where are the swords? Well, I'm going to be honest, you're probably not going to hear from them this week, but are they thinking about you? Absolutely. And I mean, eventually, if this becomes Ace of Cups, Two of Cups, wish fulfillment, if you're hoping they communicate or vice versa, there's going to be communication, but I don't see it yet. All right. So that's what I got for you this week, Leo. Thanks so much. All right, Virgo. Virgo, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus signs. Let's see what's coming in for you romantically. Virgo, what's a narrative or storyline I can share with my Virgo gang out there? What's coming through in romance? Ooh, backstabbing and poker face. Heartbreak, pain, separation and loss, deception and lies, shocking attack, poker face, taking a chance, risk options, not showing hand. So two kind of different dynamics. This almost seems like you're privy to information that someone is trying to, what is that expression? Like, pull the wool over your eyes, and there's something about having some sort of intel on them. So before this person like fully moves forward with doing something kind of shady or clandestine, you seem to know what's up. So for some of you, this isn't going to be as sinister as it sounds, right? For some of you, this is just saying trust your intuition, especially, if you're on dating apps and you're just getting like a weird vibe, or, maybe you're meeting up in person, but whatever it is, it's you just sense that this person isn't being fully transparent with you, or they're kind of glossing over some important details. You may ask for some clarification, and again, you're just met with more like vagueness and fog. I think we have some Neptune transits coming, in the next couple days. So that kind of makes sense, right? But you don't seem to be revealing the fact that you know that they're lying to you. It's almost like you want to see how deep they'll go in, I don't know if it's lying, but in not being transparent, not being forward with something. So maybe you know this person is texting someone else while they're with you, or this or that type of thing. Sorry, I know it's not like a super fun message this week. And then self-indulgent. So this is not always a bad card, because the first thing it says is self-worth and value. So for a lot of you, I think rather than getting all upset about something, you're like, you know, this person might be playing games with you, and so you're kind of playing games back. Now, I don't necessarily endorse that. In fact, I don't, but I also see what you're doing. I think rather than getting sort of emotionally invested in this when you flat out know that something isn't right here, you're just kind of having fun with it. Now, again, I'm not advocating or advising that. I'm just kind of reading the energy I'm getting. And so you kind of seem to be chuckling to yourself just to see how deep this person gets in. Do you know what I mean? Because, yeah, there's just something about their like spinning webs of lies or something like that. And like, the thing is, I don't think you're going to suffer because of it, because you already know. And I think it does come from a place of valuing yourself. But I guess, I don't know, to be honest, I would say ultimately, rather than feeding into their games and sort of like living for the drama, I know that's not all of you, but this does have an element of that. Rather than feeding into the drama of the situation, you may as well just kind of walk away knowing that this person, it's not your problem, right? It was never meant to be your problem. This person has their own stuff going on. So yeah, rather than taking it, personally, or being offended by the fact that, how could they do this to me? I'm such a stand-up person. It has nothing to do with you. Like, this person probably plays with everybody, right? That's just like their kind of modus operandi, so to say. That being said, it's not always as simple as I'm just going to wash my hands of it and walk away. Because I think ultimately tarot wants us to dig deeper and ask the greater questions. And I think for some of you out there, the universe is wanting to know what attracted this person or this energy into your life, and where are you maybe not using caution when you should, and I don't mean to make it a you problem, like I'm blaming you, but ultimately it says shadow work, right? And that's where we have to hold ourselves accountable for kind of like the more challenging energy that exists within us. Maybe we chase bad boys, right? Because there's something alluring and exciting about that. But then at the end of the day, they literally just, let you down, right? There's not a lot of substance behind that cool, tough exterior, right? So all I'm saying is I think it's good to be self-aware, really, of like, if this is something that you've experienced frequently or more than once, I'll say it that way. And I do think you have, because like, you're no stranger to this. Like, you sense it coming a mile away. Your intuition is very on point here. So it's like, you know this type of person. You know how this person acts. You know their strategy and what's going on in their head. So what is it about that where you keep getting involved with them, or being put in scenarios or situations where you're meant to like kind of, I don't know if it's work through that, or I don't know. I guess I'm asking you, where is the wisdom that can be gained from that? Tell me a little bit more with the tarot, please. Why are we sharing this with Virgo? I think it would be good to have firm boundaries in place this week. And I don't usually like to use the word guarded, but I actually think that might be fitting in this scenario. You do have the first card coming up is the move on card. So yeah, rather than necessarily playing games or trying to force something to fit that doesn't fit, honor and respect yourself. Know that, there's plenty of other options out there. And yeah, like, I don't even necessarily see you being really tempted by this, other than it feels more, if you are at all interested in this person, it feels much more like physical and superficial, and I don't mean that in a way where I'm like, trying to be rude to you. Like, I get it. If you weren't looking for anything serious, then yeah, like maybe you can sort of, what is the good word? Justify this, like, oh, well, it was just like a one night thing, whatever. But then you keep kind of, I don't know, circling back to it, or texting back, or like, I'm hearing the word insinuate. But yeah, like, give this person more of a platform to kind of F things up. And I think the universe is saying, just be the bigger person and walk away. You don't necessarily need to give them an explanation or owe them anything. I think this is just like, you see their true colors, so operate on that moving forward. Like, you know what you need to know now. And yeah, I think the Fool is like, start again. And sometimes this can quite literally be like, quit acting the fool, or quit dealing with a fool, right? Someone who just kind of has their head up there, like they just kind of a selfish energy, right? It's like, it's their world and we're all just living in it. I think you were sort of like you were caught in their trap or whatever. You know, you were an innocent bystander that kind of got caught or involved in this, and like, you know what's up, but rather than, I think it comes from having to like try and serve them justice or trying to serve them their own karma. You don't have to do that. Let the universe worry about that, okay? This might involve a Leo or an Aquarius, an Aries. It certainly doesn't have to. Is there anything positive I can share with Virgo in terms of what might be coming up next for them? I think this is just a reminder for a lot of you to let things go. Let things go if it doesn't fit your life. If it doesn't feel right, it's probably not. Yeah, something new. Ace of Pentacles. Go with earth signs, right? You're an earth sign, Virgo. It's like they're steady, they're solid, they're reliable. They say what they mean and they mean what they say. Yeah, look for an emperor. Raise the bar higher, right? Don't settle for like, F boys. Go for your emperor, Someone who truly means it, what they say and what they're going to do and treats you better, right? Really? I like that. There could be another Aries factoring into this, possibly with the Emperor, but yeah, this week seems kind of like, yeah, you already know the truth, so yeah, good luck. Keep moving forward. All right, thanks so much, Virgo.